Greetings from New Jersey. My name is Shalja Mathur. I am the Family and Community Health Sciences educator from Somerset County. On behalf of Rutgers Cooperative Extension, I am here as a registered dietitian to talk to you about millets today. So, what are millets? Millets are considered to be one of the oldest grains, and they are from the grass family. They're very drought resistant as well as pest resistant, and so they were first cultivated in Africa and countries in Asia, but now they have become available in the United States and are slowly gaining popularity. So why should we introduce millets into our diet? Number one, they are a gluten-free grain. So, which means that they are important for anybody that is living with celiac disease or any kind of gluten sensitivity. They have a low glycemic index, which means that when they are digested, they slowly release the glucose in the bloodstream, so they give more stable blood sugar. So anybody living with prediabetes or diabetes, that's a great grain to introduce. They have very high fiber content, so they do support gut health, and they also keep you full for a longer time. In terms of micronutrients, there's calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, which means they're good for our bones, and they're very rich in antioxidants as well as polyphenols, so good for our vascular health as well. So the three major millets are sorghum, pearl millet, and finger millet. But today I'm going to talk about buckwheat, and you can find buckwheat in your regular grocery store. They come in packs like this, and I'll show you how they look. So this is how they look. So they're kind of coarse, and then millets come like this. So any of these they look like tiny seeds, almost like mustard seeds, size of mustard seeds or coriander seeds. Now, for these, they can come as those seeds, or you can also find them as a flour, so you can do different things and make pancakes with them. And buckwheat is most popular in America as pancake and waffle mixes, so you can introduce this way. Now, buckwheat, don't get confused with the name having the word wheat, because they do not fall in the wheat family. And I also wanted to talk about amaranth. Amaranth is another pseudo millet, just like quinoa and buckwheat, that you can find in the grocery stores here. And this is almost like an energy ball that's made from the amaranth seeds. So today we're going to make something that you can use for breakfast or even for a meal. And we're going to be using I'm going to turn the stove on, and we're going to be using some olive oil, and this is buckwheat that I have almost washed in cold water and had it ready. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure 2 teaspoons of olive oil, and you're going to be able to find the recipe in the comment section. So as this heats up, I'm going to add some onion. I've used half of an onion. I'm going to saute it, and then I am, just as it becomes transparent, I'm going to add my buckwheat, and once that happens, it becomes a little roasty. I'm going to add what I'm using today is bone broth, but you can use vegetable broth, you can use water, whatever you find that's in your home. Or with using bone broth, I feel like I increase its protein a little bit more, and it also gives some extra flavor. Now, while this is cooking, I want to talk to you about why I want to inspire you to eat or to try buckwheat or any of these pseudo millets. We have all been eating quinoa for the last few years now. I hope that today's presentation will inspire you to try buckwheat. Now, I want to compare it with rice and wheat, which are the more common grains that we eat. So just remember that rice is very high in carbs and it also has a very high glycemic index. Wheat also has high carbs, but it has moderate glycemic index. But buckwheat, although it has similar carbs, but it has a much lower glycemic index because it has resistant starch and it has high fiber. So it's definitely gentler for blood sugar. Now, in terms of fiber, rice is very low in fiber unless it is brown rice. And wheat has good fiber, but only if you're using whole wheat. But buckwheat has higher fiber, so it helps with keeping us full for a longer time. And it's also, like I said, good for our gut microbiome. Now, in terms of protein, rice has about 6 to 7% of protein, whereas wheat has about 11 to 12%. Any of these millets, especially buckwheat, can have as much as 13%. And just remember, this protein is gluten-free. And it's also rich in lysine, which is a protein that is missing from most of the grains. And in terms of micronutrients, if you compare it with rice and wheat, rice has some B vitamins if it is unpolished. And wheat has B vitamins, a little bit of iron, some magnesium, but with buckwheat, it's rich in B vitamins. It has magnesium, it has manganese, copper, antioxidants, and polyphenols. So it's definitely a better choice for people living with gluten issues, pre-diabetes, diabetes, as well as heart health. So my onion is now ready. I'm going to go ahead and put my buckwheat, which has been soaked a little bit. And then I'm going to measure while it roasts a little bit in the olive oil and the onion to give it that flavor. I am going to add my bone broth. Just remember that you can also use water or vegetable broth if you are a person who doesn't eat meat. It's just a choice, and I'm making this savory, but you can also make it sweet. So you can cook your buckwheat in any kind of milk that you use, whether it's regular milk or if it is some kind of coconut milk or oat milk, whichever milk you use. If you want to make it like a breakfast buckwheat, then you can use that. And I'm sorry, I did not realize that you cannot see my container. Here it is cooking. So I added some salt to this one, and I'm going to close it so that it comes to a gentle boil, and then I'm going to let it simmer for about 10 minutes, and then I plan to serve it over this bed of grated beets. And you can serve it with any kind of grilled vegetables or any kind of meat, so it can substitute the grain that you eat instead of wheat or rice. You can try this new grain. Now, I hope that next time when you go grocery, you're going to bring home some buckwheat. Join us next week at 11 a.m. on Fridays to make apple fritters with Jen. And the following week on the 17th, Michaela is coming back to give you some ideas for exercising in this beautiful fall weather. So see you next week, and thank you.